host.
So, we've reached the end.
And my sister and best friend, Martha,
Hiya, how you all doing?
yeah. So, yeah, if you talk about that intro and everything, we're going to talk about the horror franchise, the highs and lows, and there's some around here that some mentions go to Doctor for a lot of some would say that hold on. What is
Yep,
about
and we're talking about Child's Play, obviously.
yeah, yeah. Although, okay, yeah. Actually, Child's Play. We actually did watch Child's Play for a while. Well, we did it, but we kind of literally steamrolled and crammed every bit of Chucky because my sister's been having interest. What a fun little series John Mancini has been involved for a majority of most of his franchises. That's just quality control and a lot of stuff.
But the opposite can't be said. I mean, can be said for this franchise that we're discussing today.
Yeah.
Because
So,
oh boy, it went through like a gaggle of fish.
yeah. So this is Halloween, which you all know has been around for over 40 years and has had about 13th entry. And in those entries, there's always been a lot of interesting things about the want to do. Because, for example, Halloween Road doesn't get standalone, but it makes money, and it's natural. If you make money, you gotta make more of it. So they
They,
kind of strong armed John Carpenter into making part two, writing part two.
but then they effectively killed Michael Myers in that. So how are the studio asked how are they going to bring Michael back? And Deborah and John said, "We don't. We're actually going to be revealing that all along Halloween's going to be an anthology series, and we're going to do a new original Halloween take every single year." Universe is kind of going like, "Okay, we're kind of having wanted to hope to have our own Sesame, but whatever. Let's give this a shot." They gave it a
Yeah,
shot, and nobody gave it a shot because it didn't have fucking Michael Myers in it.
I mean that's why they made the point when they say Charles Center, the return of Michael Myers. They look,
Yeah, I forgot. The third one isn't even related to Michael.
what's funny is that in that movie, one of the security guards is watching a movie, and at the end, it's like, oh, Mars gets shot by the state movie.
And the TV broadcast was actually, uh, as like many specials is brought as an advertising promotion slot, courtesy of the Silver Shamrock.
Yeah, so people think maybe the producers are the idea of people like Michael, so that's the same movie we've been doing with Michael. And he has some highs and lows. Some say like we tried to explain away his incredible factor, or the fact that he seems to be some signs alarm from parents, trying to be a cult with some Jewish and other weird shenanigans. So far,
The
Mm-hmm.
infamous Thorn trilogy, as is known, where
Star
started
Wars.
off great with four, and then shit the bed of five, but then six was like, what the hell is this? What you're giving me like a pile of sticks and a piece of shit. What do you want me to do with this?
And on
Try.
top of that, we had the Weinsteins involved. So they did try to set things right by making H2O all 20 years later. One of the first kids to hold direct. What do want that, man? A recall, if you will.
Which
There,
I still
there,
like
there-
that
there's
movie.
there's a requel before requels were cool.
Oh yeah. And what's funny was there even wrestling matches behind the scenes about that because apparently they had heard about the accident, so they had it called specifically to say under no circumstances must Michael Myers be killed in the movies.
And then of course it ends with decapitation.
Believe it or not, was the middle ground for what they wanted to do because Jamie Lee Curtis only agreed to sign on if they were going to kill the fucker, and they were telling her, "Oh, we're actually going to do this," and then they say, "Okay, fine, we won't give any hints that this was so far." For the people who watched our original tape, well, yeah, he's dead, he's gone. And then came Derek's favorite entry, Halloween Resurrection. He's all like, "What
Whoa,
is?"
whoa, whoa! Hold on. This don't listen to him. He does not speak to me for. Oh my god!
I'm
The
now. I
first
don't.
15 minutes. The first 15 minutes, you'll already hear audiences leaving theaters in droves at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure you'll get a reaction like that until like Dark Fate in the TV. But yeah, like there only really is one part where it's watching Andrew, and I reckon that is the mix too low because after they cold open and the title doesn't really have so well to do with that storyline. It might as well just been like you might as well not have it there.
It's Michael's brother. If he had a brother.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the problem was that it was actually a different horror movie, but Dimension needed a Halloween film, so they decided, let's slap it on there.
So
And
that's
why not? It worked with the Dinosaur Planet and put Star Fox in there instead.
yeah. So that's why it felt so detached because the whole like wouldn't John Chase from HBO have things to say about his Halloween versus Mayhem kill.
No, Nolan cares. Just what fucking Michael Myers.
Yeah, and you got Michael Myers getting his ass kicked by a rapper, and then Nolan says nothing.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
This is the 70s punk still of all things, and then they burn him to a toast, and he's still coming after. It's just Resurrection was definitely the perfect. Even the title is a lie. What are we resurrecting? Michael didn't even die to be. What are we resurrecting? He's at the time. He didn't even die, so even the title's a lie.
It was
Well,
this movie,
didn't
and they
Jason do something similar?
Huh?
Didn't Jason do something similar?
It's different. The Jason always comes back.
Right.
well,
Okay.
except for part 5, but he was more like a ghost.
But we mentioned part five. I was up to today actually. But then of course Halloween had everyone's favorite hillbilly rock star come into the scene with Rob Zombie haircut and everything. And he did admit part of it was because he wanted to act, but a part of it was because hey, if he's in it,
Someone
someone
else who didn't give a fuck will.
and you can't deny that there is care and attention put into his Halloween movie. Maybe a little too much to the point where see sometimes more is too much rather than because the first Halloween did a lot of what all these guys call despite being a slasher movie in its own development compared to the sequels that come later. And how Rob Zombie's Halloween's all like more metal, more in your face, Michael. Hell, they even tried to explain his backstory by having him be a child from a troubled home and has mommy issues. And, you know, turns out it's just, bro, they must have good food and good workout equipment because apparently he grows from a little 23-year-old boy to freaking Sabretooth in that continuity.
To be
And I'm
fair,
surprised there's no Rob Zombie songs in there. If I remember.
Actually, no, there isn't any Rob Zombie music in that.
I'd be surprised if there was.
I don't think Rob puts his songs in his own movies. I think he feels like that'd be too much jerking off.
Yeah,
Like,
but
But
yeah,
and also to be fair with the whole putting more into it, it's the fact that he covets the original Halloween so much that he didn't want to just be a note for note like honest remake. This is kind of like the twisted thinking of a fan. It's like you want to do right by it, but you don't want to feel like you're trying to replace it. Essentially, you don't want people to think of this movie instead of the old one. So of course you have to make it so different enough that it can just be its own thing.
and then a shoe so okay, shoe who went off the reservation on that one. It is my favorite. It was just because I laugh at how artsy and balls to the wall it is, but also like showing like it's so easy that Rob Zombie took on a Halloween horror project.
Okay, now I'll be in defense of that one too. The studio was pushing for a sequel because even though uh, Michael got his headshot off point blank range, of course it's like the studio thing like, it's a slasher's a slasher, and any slasher that dies just comes back to life in the next one. So just let's make another one.
But
And
uh,
Rob is like, oh fuck,
but the director
fine. You want a sequel? I'll give you a fucking sequel. Hold
but
my
the
beer.
director's cut of HP is my favorite because it goes even more artsy and hell. It does have a scene that's exclusive in which as a surprise twist, Annie survives her injuries in Halloween 1, only to be brutally killed in Halloween 2 after a fallout with Howard. And Brad Dourif delivers one of the most touching performances in the past more than every season. So the thing I watched most recently was Character Ludicrous Adventures Countess. The ending was so ludicrous, I couldn't help but laugh at it. Not because it was terrible, because that was really my cope with it. Derek even asked me, "You okay?" Like, yeah, I just thought it was funny to see a Bonnie and Clyde ending, so to speak.
I mean that it looks exactly like this. Pretty much all the characters are blown away. And that was Rob Zombie saying like, "There, I,
Or three.
have luck trying to make a third one. You fucking pricks."
And hell, they didn't do well enough that they stopped Michael Myers anyway.
Well, they were Universal or whoever's in charge was really adamant to try to push for a third one, make it even 3D just to rake in the box office thanks to Avatar there.
Mm.
But then things kind of fell flat because Holly 2 is, batshit insane and nobody wanted to do anything with it. So the franchise is kind of laid in ice, forever forgotten. Possibly going to be directed to DVD because that's where most horror movies go
Or
after they've died.
or Netflix, since Avatar became on the rise at that point.
And then Bloomhouse happened.
Oh yes, this is the guy who can take chewing gum, popsicle sticks, and 75 cents and make a very efficient automobile, all in making the cash. Paranormal Activity, the
Purge, the
Purge series,
Happy Death Day, Sinister.
but the Twisted Sister you saw, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, so the point is, this is a guy that made a name for himself in horror. Like, in a sense, Blumhouse was a new line or new dimension films. Because in the 90s and 80s, those guys ran the horror market. They had the horror market cornered. So if you watch any of those, it doesn't matter if you see that little film logo of New Line plastered on it, coming in, or the Dimension logo. That I've always associated those with Scream, by the way.
Mhm.
and what probably drew people into the fact that not only was Bloomhouse tackling Halloween, but the biggest announcement that turned everyone's attention was the return of Jamie Lee Curtis, and the fact that this was going to retcon all movies except the original.
Something that Godzilla's been in practice for over many years. That's a Millennium Studies. But yeah, this started the whole trend of like the I think you could argue that male stars really first with like Arnold and Sylvester Stallone turning into roles like Rambo and Terminator, but here she is like the heroine returning, but it actually includes other movies we follow in time, such as the aforementioned Terminator Dark Fate, reuniting with Linda Hamilton, or even Sidney Prescott returning in the latest Scream. So that's but Halloween really paved the way for that, and also funny. In reference to James Rolfe's trial, excuse my title saying, here's yet another movie where instead of just calling it the name of the person, you say, let's talk Halloween.
Actually, I have a very good way to differentiate, and like even the movies have already done their job. See, we would now have the 78 film be either titled as the Halloween of 1978 or, and this is what I prefer to call it, John Carpenter's Halloween. Because it's the John Carpenter stamp of approval, bitches.
Yeah. And then also of note is the fact that this is directed by a comedy man. Danny McBride produced, and he's just especially for summer comedies, and his director for those comedies, director David Green, did the directing duties and made a heck of a film that was slick and smart and tight and rhymed, and everybody loved it. People are expecting it to suck. Oh,
But they actually gave it such gravitas. They actually made the Boogeyman, the Shape, scary again,
yeah.
which is a feat that was quite honestly lost almost for like almost a decade.
Yeah, when you get your guy saying that character is ludicrous, it's kind of hard to make it scary. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it wasn't even ludicrous. It was more like, oh my bad. Anyway, the point is, again, once again, the TV flop. They started off and opening for a sequel, but they didn't anticipate what was coming. And it did make the Red Devils a promising. Within weeks of that movie coming out, Halloween Kills and the Halloween ends, it's going. It's going to be even more content. You're
One
probably
year later.
you're probably noticing this year out in 2020 or 2022 because that.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh, yeah. Let's get over it. Blah blah blah. Real life sucks. The decade just started off in wrong, but let's get to down to the brass tacks.
okay. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. So. Since I had to for both the original and HBO. HBO was actually my first take on, and then I got the original. I say original, but I only got the take after I got HBO. And that was a favorite quality to watch. And then when you get to 2018, you start watching all the other ones, and that list of little things that I see where Michael is pushing everybody going, hey guys, I didn't know about that. They're and that made us well always laugh when we see that.
And that forever made me love love to watch these Halloween
And
movies.
even if you haven't seen the Halloween movies, everybody knows the famous John Carpenter piano motif that has from Halloween and put on everyone's mixtapes or Halloween themed party music.
Even as ringtones on your phone.
Yep.
And my dad will to this day say that it is like the creepiest theme song he's ever heard.
Oh
Like
yeah.
anytime that movie starts up with the theme, like he already just gets goosebumps in like the back of his head.
It's so simple yet but because you got like a pounding metronome that's sounding like a heartbeat. You got that quick tension little metronome, and then the piano's just sitting and oh, that's another big thing about the movie. Not only is it restricted to kind of Jamie Lee Curtis and even the cast was of course Michael. We also have the OG composer and director himself, John Carpenter, providing music for the movie along with his son.
And also helping produce it too. So like for the first time in a long time since the days of Season of the Witch, John Carpenter actually came to a project and was fully on board with it, especially considering the fact that it wiped out what he considered was the worst mistake he ever made, and that was making a motivation for Michael Myers going after Laurie Strode.
Yeah,
I am your sister.
that you mean brother. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, no, it's so sad, but yeah, he did admit that. I think that was actually influenced by his dad, if I remember at the time.
Ah, yes, because the familial ties is always like the biggest like what twist. So much so that people to this day will make ridiculous theories just trying to loop everyone together.
Yeah. So, yeah, even
Click on this video to see how the Sanderson sisters are actually related to the Blair Witch.
yeah. Or see this video to see how Zelda and Peach's bloodline are connected together somehow. Anyway, but yeah, this
And the fact is, when you give a monster a motivation, and the fact that they have a reason to go to a simple, specific town to attack a specific people, the terror goes from like is he in my house? Like, is he in my darkness? Is like, oh, I'm not neighbors next to a Strode or anything. I'm fine.
Nope, Michael goes for
yeah,
broke.
in this one, yeah, one of the best scenes in 2018 is the fact that Michael, there's a scene, a full montage of Michael just going in and out of the house like a shark and just taking out people left and right while no one's alive.
Because who's gonna pay attention? It's Halloween. It's always chaotic.
So then we have that, and then Halloween Kills comes out. And
And oh my god, if you
the,
thought Michael Myers was terrifying, this one really stamped into the fact that this motherfucker is the king of slashers.
well, it's his highest body count yet in any of the films, I think.
I would argue he was almost probably like yeah no he's like in total with adding from the 2018 film to this one in one night he probably might be rivaling the numbers for Jason in like any of his movies.
Yeah, that's yeah, like Jason killed a lot of people in Jason X, and Lauren was really as Michael, but Lauren found every death in that Jason to hit millions of people. So that's the only way you can say he still outpaces Michael. But in terms of on screen kills, all he kills us has a guy gets his face turned into a pumpkin squish. All the eyebrow stuff on there. We were watching it live just in preparation for this whole movie. We were like, oh, I forgot how horrible the death of the John were in that was.
Yeah, it's like when you attack someone right it's like their armpits, it's like it's no, no, don't stick the knife in there, man.
Oh yeah,
That's
but
sick.
and that's another thing about this. Goes full blown, garbage dispenser on everybody. He doesn't run the risk of turning into Jason. He still has that little streaky creative flair that says, "This is a Michael killing."
Like to the point that you'll kill, like attack someone by breaking off a fluorescent light and staking them with like the broken shards.
And let them watch as this turns into a nightmare.
Yep. Which on that note, I was honestly surprised in the movie when I saw.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. So, obviously, we're doing spoilers for movies that came out today, plus movies that came out 20 years ago. What's funny is that we think Michael was supposedly dead at the end of Halloween, but Halloween Kills gave a plausible way for him to get out. And then it ends in a way that either you love it or hate it at the same time. Where Michael takes the beating of a lifetime from the entirety of the Haddonfield mob, and then just gets out and solos everybody.
Because they, as Laurie says, that no mere mortal could survive that kind of fire.
Yeah. So,
With every kill, he transcends.
yeah, and he ends caps it off by killing Bailey Kirk's daughter, Sarah, played by Hannah Keener. And that's where the movie ends in kills, and they're like, oh. Because, so then, one thing about kills that always people say is the fact that all the advertising and everything leads to that Pet Center. And he's kind of just chilling out in the hospital for most of the movie. In fact, we were getting worried we were going to get another attempt at the hospital storyline too. And boy, nobody is another one of those.
They,
Mhm.
even Karen thought that Mike was going to be heading there, but as like Allison learned and as we the audience learned that Michael was never actually going after Laurie. He was essentially just on his way home. And he was just like pretty much just kind of like filling an itch that he's been building up for 40 years and needing leaving a stack of bodies. But like all this time that Laurie thought that she was prepping her home because the boogeyman will try and track her down, and she has to like booby trap every single room, has to learn every single weapon and their inaccuracies, their pros, their cons, their defects, has to learn every single like tactile like hunter's game, and it turned out to just all be bullshit.
It was just random happenstance that she came in chat. So,
Needless to say, people were wondering how exactly do you stop the boogeyman after he laid pretty much waste of half the town at this point. Let's just be honest.
yeah,
Like he took out an entire fireman crew. That's like going to like really like hurt a lot of people that are needing like rescued.
on top of that, I remember there was a slight tiny controversy from the fact that Michael took out so many firefighters. Like, I think the Joker, we were like saying like, whenever a cop gets shot up, an explosion blows up, nobody panics and it's all part of the plan. There's a couple of firefighters that are going to this.
Well, everyone lose their minds.
Yep.
But anyway,
And plus, it's funny considering the fact that cops were slaughtered in horror movies, EMS and doctors were slaughtered in horror movies, and no one gave a stink. But oh no, when the firefighters get like access to the face, people start stinking up and say, "Hey, I'm part of the fire again," and I feel this is very insulting to our like line of work.
okay, I understand, but at the same time, these are just movies. I don't think Spiral is gonna make. anyone think differently about the police departments, maybe it should. Anyway, uh, so ends. You can. The funny is they kept this under wraps for a while. We didn't get like an advertisement for it until like a couple of months ago. Like, oh yeah, this is coming out this year, right?
Well, I always knew it was gonna be coming out
I
this
know it's
year.
coming out, but I just felt like it was in the
Well,
background.
obviously you're not gonna see advertised it like when it's Easter time. A Halloween movie like celebrating Easter or Mother's Day, and a trailer pops out and says, "Oh yeah, Halloween, dude, yeah."
They
Well,
did
I
it
really
for.
wish that could be the thing because that would lead me to have more sanity, but I don't know.
But so before we start, hey, what did you think of? We're going about chronological. What did you think of the first two Halloween entries?
We're talking about the prequel entries, right?
Yeah, the David McBride films, Danny McBride films.
Let's just call these the H40 trilogy.
Yeah,
But I would let's see. The thing is that I was starting to become getting into Halloween movies um, around like a couple of years before like all this was going down. Like I think I was starting around like I was starting to get into horror around 2011, and it's obviously starting off with my Nightmare on Elm Street and some of those. But then obviously Dad had a DVD of the original Halloween movie, and I watched that. And but that was like long after like the Rob Zombie stuff, so I wasn't able to even get a chance to even see that in a theater. But to have a Halloween movie to go to a theater and to bring my dad to see the new entry was just kind of like a nice, exhilarating thank you of sorts. And the fact that they actually worked their asses off to not only uh, really relish into the rules of the lore that John and Deborah set up years ago in '78, before the studios tried to force them to try to be more of like a typical slasher film. And not only that, but they were uh, more than aware enough to know that okay, so we are ignoring the timeline, but that doesn't mean we're going to ignore the movies and the impact it had. And you would see like certain Easter eggs in the background, like you see the Shamrock mask that people know and are starting to love all of a sudden, or the fact that there's like that, that people have this like determination that they believe that there's a reason that uh, Michael goes after babysitters or survivors like Laurie Strode, and that there must be like a huge like connection between them, and this destined fight between them, and you learn that it's just all just like serial killer is just random. There's nothing to be specific about.
and
So
then so
how 2018 was like a pretty good like yeah hell yeah, this is like a reboot I could get behind. And then Halloween Kills came, and was like floored at the body count. Essentially, the amount of kills, the deaths, and the insanity that the mob mentality was going on. Because let's not kid ourselves. The horror tends to find that nerve pinch that's going on in real world, and will put it in your face and show you the ugly side of it, like straight up. And yeah, the mob mentality was going on, like especially at like pretty much around the last year and the year prior, and to this day almost. But and to show that monsters not only exist as like soulless like serial killer, but also like in droves of sheep going after like a wolf in like clothing is just kind of terrifying. To realize, oh yeah, I see that on the news every day. This kind of hits home too close to me.
well, it's like when we flipped out at oh dang it, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna see something in the theater. It stuck off my brain. Like, my brain stopped working. Oh yeah, the Batman movie. So the rumors that Arlene came up as news was that she had followers that arranged being with Oh, oh, whoa. Mhm.
That hits too close to home.
Mhm.
But that's what entertainment does. They have to like really slam it. And I will always roll my eyes over people saying, "Oh, we don't need real world connections. You just need dumb, fun entertainment." It's like, guys, you had that back in the '90s and early 2000s, and you called that corny. So I'm sorry, but you gotta be consistent in what you want. So, needless to say, I was pretty stoked to see how this storyline was going to get concluded with ends, and I can honestly say that after watching it twice, one by myself with a group of people and another with my uh, OG fan dad, uh, this is kind of a movie that will. I'm gonna probably be honest. Like, people are gonna hate it. Like, even Jamie Lee Curtis stated that people are gonna probably hate it, but if you actually take a few seconds to actually think about it, besides the fact that, oh, it's like another slasher entry, then you might actually, enjoy what it's trying to talk about. And the fact that they do deliver on the title, let's just say, like, that's the only spoiler I'll give you. It's like, this is there's I'll be laughing my ass off if they say, oh yes, there's a new entry and this coming off, continuing off from this storyline. And it's like, ha! How?
Yeah.
I would like to know how you fixed this up.
Well, it worked for Chuck.
Oh, hey, Chucky can get it
Well,
all.
he's a plastic doll that can possess multiple bodies now, but still.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I gotta give it a ball for it. Jason Bourne said, yeah, the wrestling is back to its all in all. But it's definitely the last movie we'll be making under this label.
And just to be frank, this is also, the rumors are true that this will be Jamie Lee's last, like, go at this franchise. And she, it's it's
He's
kind of
done
almost,
yet.
it's almost essentially kind of like how, well, originally, like, uh Hugh Jackman was touting that it would be the last time he played Wolverine with Logan, but hey, you want to bring Wolverine back for Deadpool 3?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So, but yeah, this is, she even definitely signed a document, a contract essentially that is was, nope, nope, never, not in a million years, not if I was paid 10 hundred billion bucks to come back. No.
Yeah, and then
What else can you do with the character?
yeah, the way this movie settles things, I think this is the best way for the character because even H2O got that thing fucked up by the inferior people.
Because we forgot to, like, oh man, we didn't double tap, we didn't check to see if it was the guy.
But yeah, so what about you? What are your thoughts on this thing here? Keep the you keep the fort running. I gotta away from people fort running about your thoughts real quick.
Okay.
So, sis, what did you think of 2018 and Kills?
2018 kills. Well, despite me kind of going in and out in terms of which one I can rep from the watching all the Halloween films, I actually liked it. I remember sitting down and watching it by myself after one time, and I was doing my own commentary on it, and I'm like thinking how the characters are, and I'm all like, yeah, Michael sure has a big body count.
And the way they treated Lori, because Lori has kind of had like a interesting portrayal in the movies. Like, she was kind of like the girl next door in the original, and then the second one she was kind of almost like a whimpering damsel in distress in two, because she's pretty much like limping in a hospital and have to get away and trying to call for help.
Mm.
And then the second one, I mean, the H2O, she kind of had a like, oh, I'm hiding out. I gotta hide away from the boogeyman. I gotta hide everything about me and hide my son. And then halfway through, like, oh, fuck this. Like, not done running away. I'm gonna cut this fucker up.
I mean, I remember watching H2O. Yeah, what a funny title to call it. uh,
But
Halloween 20 years. Not my
that whole
opinions.
that whole title was actually Jamie Lee Curtis's suggestion.
Oh, okay.
So I guess she was kind of like wanting to make it like a big spectacle. kind of like how like wrestling has like WCW or Raw or something like that.
Oh yeah, they always do that.
It's like it's going down on H2O.
Sounds like a whole radio thing, like a radio station thing for Halloween. Um, I actually did like 2018. The fact that I saw the characters that are basically going to play a role in this in the other one, Halloween. Well, yeah, this other one. Oh wait, I'm
Halloween
getting
Kills.
yeah, Halloween Kills. Yeah. The fact that I saw the characters again, I'm all like, that's actually pretty neat because they made a cameo in the other one. So.
Right. I remember actually like having a wide-eyed reaction to remembering like, oh, the doctor and the nurse from like the walkthrough montage with Michael. They actually have like a purpose here. It's
Yeah.
like it's like they like put the pieces up and they're like putting them in a row like dominoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like even they even like brought back the boyfriend, which like everyone's kind of confused how he ended up being like a jerk to Allison, and yet he got away scot free. But like a desperate, uh, drunk, sad Oscar got like uh, lip pierced to spike fence. It's like seems like a gross like overblow for Punisher for one and like ignoring an obvious one and the other, but then Cameron comes back and he is actually like, oh yeah, you're actually an okay guy. That was just like a moment of drunk weakness at a party.
Yep, he was drunk. So I did find it kind of nice that he at least got another chance with Allison up until he got killed.
Well, this is the name of the game. Unless your name is Strode, your chances of survival are next to nil.
Yep.
Although, to be fair, Lindsay managed to survive that, which is funny considering that she managed to survive the original night as well.
Now think about it. Yeah, she's actually besides Laurier himself. Yeah, she seems to be the few survivors of the first film.
Right. In the alternate timeline, there was Dr. Loomis, but then, oh, that reminds me, we gotta also like briefly talk about how awesome that the flashbacks they handled in Kills kind of floored me a little bit because I'm sure they would have like explained like how Michael got captured, but I didn't imagine that they would think like, okay, if we're gonna do flashbacks, right, we're gonna make it so that it looks like an alternate Halloween 2, like right down to how it looks visually and like audioly. Not even a word, but you get what I mean. It actually
Yeah.
sounds like it's a lost film from like the late '70s, early '80s.
And when I saw that, I was legit blown away. I'm like, how did they do that? Like, that is kind of, that's very impressive.
Like if
How
you
they
were to
do
time travel like back to like I don't know 2012 and show this footage over and say, here, this is actually a lost like footage of like the original Halloween 2 that got scrapped, and people would be like, well, where the hell is this? What happened? Give me details. What was it behind the scenes like? It's like they would have bought it like right from the get go.
that. I mean, like, that standard they got for Loomis, I could have sworn, like, did they have a time machine before his death?
Yeah, they
Not
just
even.
got lucky with the production designer looking at him and applying a little bit of makeup to him, and then using like AI. No, they actually got like a pretty good voice alike to voice him.
Yeah, like, I was still blown away on how they did that. Like, my
It was almost
gosh.
it was almost like we actually got to have a little bit of Donald Pleasant's charm brought back after his like I got unfinished business to deal with exit in Curse, the
Yep.
sixth one.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know what else to think. Kind of waiting on our main host over here.
Return. What? I guess we could talk Well, unless we're not there yet to talk about the movie that we're here to talk about, that being Halloween Ends.
Which is, I guess we should talk
Well,
about like how.
fine, let it have to go deal with the laundry stuff.
Okay, well, before we get started, I guess I was gonna actually bring up a topic we probably were gonna discuss anyway. Is that like typically whenever a movie has like, oh, this is the final entry, and people are gonna be rolling their eyes and like, oh yeah, sure.
Oh,
Let's
like I
count.
haven't
Let's
heard
see.
that
Friday the
before.
13th, Part 4, the final chapter.
5 more movies
Yep.
came after it.
Then uh, Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. And then we had Wes Craven anniversary, and then Freddy vs. Jason reboot. And then like, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the final chapter.
Since the location of security breaches as well.
Yeah, so needless to say, whenever a move, oh, the funniest is like Children of the Corn 2, the final sacrifice. It's like, wow, this is the second entry. You just call it quits now, are you? Oh, I'll believe that when I see it. And you got a prequel, son of a bitch.
Yeah. So this one is a little but before we
But
go into
but
spoilers,
but to be fair with Halloween, it's honestly a mess to consider the fact that it's like probably one of the few horror franchises that can say like, oh yeah, we have like multiple like timelines here. You got this timeline here, you got this timeline here, and you could technically say we also have this timeline here if you just ignore resurrections here. You got a nice, quiet, like nice even trilogy here.
what's funny is
Connect Halloween.
it's like scattershot. It's like scattershot sometimes.
But to be fair, I think when the fact that this one is lauding that this is the last of like the prequel timeline with the Bloomhouse Productions, and the last that Jamie Lee is going to be involved with it, and considering the fact that how they handled ending this threat, it definitely is a title that's not like a gimmick. It actually feels like this is the finale. This is the end of everything you know.
But once they got it right.
Yeah, thank God about that.
So
Also funny enough that this is like that. Michael's got like a movie count bigger than uh, Jason Voorhees. I know what you're thinking is that well, technically like the Halloween 3 doesn't have Michael in it, so it shouldn't count. Oh, okay. Well, Friday the 13th Part 1 doesn't have Jason Leon, no, so that shouldn't count either.
Yeah, you're right.
So, needless to say, Michael wins. Flawless victory. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. It wasn't a flawless like journey to get to this part, but we are here, and
yeah,
we are finally ready to discuss.
as that okay, on the last one, as that turns out for Jason, I don't think they ever take that as actually fine after.
Well, if you let me be fair, like Freddy even tried to, yes, the Buster Rise character was named Freddy, haha. If you even did try to do that with Jason, he would have gotten his block knocked off.
Oh, that's what happened to that guy.
Boom! Right in the dumpster.
Okay, so yeah, Halloween. We're not delaying talking about it because it's anything bad or good about it. It's just that I thought it'd be very kind of up to speed about my thoughts on this new iteration. Some people have the same as Stellar, some said it didn't start, but besides what way throughout the start that kills, it's okay. Not like this is another by the mills. No.
Another cash grab.
Yeah, exactly. So that people say ends somewhat like an obligation. Well, hell, even if the reviews were god awful, we all agree this. There is no way it could be more embarrassing than what happened in Five or Resurrections. Resurrections bad, but I think Five was boring. I think the worst thing about horror film is boring.
Well, not only boring, but it's insulting when you like get down to the brass tacks of like the director's decisions.
Are we still laugh at the fact that there were cats in the scene? We're all like, go back to the cats. They were actually insane.
I remember that watching down and sitting it. I remember that movie was so boring that to the point the only thing that was entertaining was the cats.
And it got cool once again when we saw Arthur Lee finally like, yeah, coming in. Michael, only now you're trying to get to the soul of Michael. They're having a heart to heart. Yeah, I said that. Wow, burns all over his body.
So
Oh
the
yeah.
result of his complete utter mutilation is just minor as an irritation.
And if I can just say something, people who say they hate the 2018 film, you guys haven't seen like really good.
Oh, we haven't seen the bad ones. You think that's bad?
I mean, I enjoy 2018 Halloween, and of
Uh,
course the Halloween
well,
ends.
there's not a lot of people that say 2018 is bad. It's just like it's all right, but it's not as good as Halloween 2. It's not
And you know,
just fit my nostalgic just fit my nostalgia goggles.
What?
yeah. And then so the big thing that ends has going for like not only was it coming out in theaters, it was also coming out the last three times Universal's done the whole both on Peacock and theaters at the same time hasn't been so far. This is that most recent Parasite already.
Huh.
But yeah, we were going to see this regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of had to. You kind of need to know how uh, Laurie is gonna finally put down the boogeyman, especially since like we've been leading up to this moment the entire time. She had to pretty much get healing up in a hospital after like suffering like wounds and all that.
Her
Which
her insides are almost out in front of the Ellis law firm.
yeah,
Angry Mob.
So anyway, Halloween ends. I do want to. One thing I was about the most recent Halloween film was that they used the exact same font as the OG titles from Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, respectively, in their entries. Hell, one of the coolest things about Halloween was with the Flavor Compass, the Violet Compass, posting up the left of Eric just made the post pop up as well.
that's like the perfect say the franchise image that one could possibly make.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just. I already knew I was in for it when they started off with the blue font, like Laura's font, and it was in a very blocky space. And I go, oh, that one is this is the third entry in that new Halloween series. Also, 40 years since Halloween 3 since the original one, so it's a pretty close tribute. They threw in that, and even remember that was intentional to use that font. So even Halloween 3 went its own way against what was expected and got persecuted for it, but people came around to loving it. So he's doing the same thing he said about this one.
I definitely feel like it's gonna happen, and yeah, needless to say, like my comments about how I already consensus there's people gonna be hating it, and how Jamie Lee says like people aren't gonna like it. Like they flat out like use that font to tell you like that. This isn't gonna be the typical show you're expecting, folks. This is gonna be a little bit something different. I mean, it
Uh,
has to be. It has to actually feel like a finale, and if a finale isn't gonna feel right, if it's just gonna be 2 hours of like a 75-year-old slasher killer that's like hacked, chewed, and spit up versus a 60-year-old grandma.
yeah. So yeah, this is the quote of Elvis. This ain't no nostalgia show. We're gonna be something a little different. That's a good movie, by the way. Elvis is an amazing movie.
Please go see it.
It's on HBO Max. It's on Hulu right now. If you haven't seen it. Anyway, so this it's very funny how
We
this
kind of
is
start. We kind of start off with we're pretty much 1 year after the events of 2018, which is like pretty much hell in the handbasket, and yet people are just celebrating Halloween like it's no big deal. It's like, huh? You'd think there'd be like cops lining up around the streets here.
yeah, and
And given the events and what happened.
yeah. So I like how this movie tries to pick up with Michael's kind of never been seen for years, many years, and Laurie and Alex are trying their best to make a happy life for each other after losing Aaron, and there's no fear of the boogeyman thing after they've never been seen, but there seems to be some sort of sickness, some evil running across town everybody's seen the Michael like that sounds funny. Anyway, so there was like when he was crying, and people were saying Michael did it. Yeah, to the point where even the cops are like, yeah, this is Michael. You know, he's dead.
And it's definitely like reminds you of the fact that Lewis's like theory about the fact that this isn't some ordinary man. This is like a evil personified.
Evil has come to us.
Death has come to your little town.
Yeah, and it's so. Yeah, and like I said, it's just, I love the idea of together.
Like
And
right away, it pretty much just opens up with uh, a new character that were introduced, Corey Cunningham.
I think that's a
Uh,
cute little nod to Shauna there.
That's so cute.
I mean, why not? We had a Carpenter back with the fifth Scream, so why not? Let's just make it a recurring trope to name our characters after iconic horror movie.
Oh, I can't
Like,
wait for the Craven and the Rainier show.
I call dibs on Romero.
Oh, yeah, local Philly boys. So the yeah, but I like how can we just go full spoiler for this one?
I mean, there's literally no other way we can do this. We're not gonna be able to convince everybody to
You'll
go
see
see this.
it.
They're already going to see it anyways. It's October. It's Halloween. What else are you gonna see? Smile?
Black
Well,
Adam.
you are. You'll probably see those two because those are kind of pretty good Halloween examples. Like one's Marvel scary movie, the other's anti-hero. So,
Yeah.
eh.
Anyway,
And the fact that the Black Adam one deals with the most vile and most despicable evil known in the world, ancient Egypt.
on top of that, yeah, there's a guy with red horns in the trailer, so I'm like, yeah, well, is he? I know he's not really saying that, but still, yeah, so it'll work. But yeah, Halloween ends. I think I liked it. Nice. Just like I said, I'm pretty sure Derek liked it, so that'll be. That's what I want to hear for spoiler. Yes, he liked it.
Yes. Go see it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and if you don't, well, at least you have something entertaining to rag on for your YouTube videos if you have something that you want to like complain about for 40 minutes.
We'll just say this: it doesn't. If you don't like it, you'll at least admit it didn't get bad as 5 or 6 or Resurrection or H2, as like people refer to the Rob Zombie. It's Halloween 2 because that's how they advertise it. H2,
Oh,
not H2. That one was actually good.
yeah, but yeah,
But like, I will roll my eyes at wherever people say, "Oh, this was worse than fucking Resurrection." Like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. No. When was the last time you saw that movie? No, you don't. No, 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 no,
and let's
no,
face it,
no.
it wasn't a Jason Gunn episode. You would hear from Derek firsthand if it was as bad as that. You wouldn't even be
I,
sitting here for this.
so, needless to say, it's gonna be different. We'll just tell you that
It'll be great.
this is to quote a certain other prequel sort of trilogy. This is not gonna go the way that you think.
Oh, yeah. So, with the spoiler, okay, we're gonna go into spoilers because there's no other way to talk about it. Spoilers away. We got a dead kid in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Uh,
Yes.
to be fair, that kid was asking for it after he literally just uh, straight up insulted his babysitter right in front of his face.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad for what was Corey?
Corey.
Corey, yeah.
Yeah,
Corey,
I
wasn't
think
it?
I'm thinking about it. Like, I didn't even know we had a first name.
It was Corey,
I
right?
think it's Corey.
Yeah, I think it's Corey. Yeah.
It is Corey.
Okay, I'm just remembering. Um. So yeah, when I first saw that, I'm thinking like, wow, the kid kind of got what he kind of deserved.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're off. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you know what makes a character so kind of conniving that you want to actually root for the person that loves them.
Well, I
It
mean,
it
granted,
And
it did kind of feel like an old school horror movie where it's like, okay, we just made a character that's just clearly an asshole, and you definitely want to see them die, but at the same time you realize like, I mean, it's just a kid. Like, of course they're gonna be rude little shits.
Yeah, you're like that little 12-year-old
But
kid.
then he did that stupid ass prank in a very precarious situation, and yeah, of course he.
That was enough.
Wrong timing, wrong
I mean,
But yeah, I think I yelled out like, "Oh!" when I heard that splat and he fell on the ground. Like, but at first I thought he got fucked by the door. Oh, he has a bruise. Then I see him hit the floor and I go, "Oh!"
I mean, the moment I mean, it went by so fast. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I mean,
And then we saw the body. We go,
oh shoot! I'm like,
That's
so the sheer force.
because he kicked
Oh,
the door.
That's
yeah.
that's like three. That's like 3 floors there. Like it's like 3 layers of steps going up.
Well, at least he wasn't as bad as a poor umbrella man. That guy got turned to street pizza.
Oh God, yes. Rest in peace, Umbrella Man.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I like how this isn't the first time a kid has been brutally murdered in this trilogy. Hell, we had that poor bastard get his neck cracked by Michael when he tied up the car, and
And killed.
we do have an implication. He didn't ask for that Silver Timer skull head.
And oh god, I just realized the use of the blue font. So we've actually seen a child be killed in a Halloween movie. That would be part 3.
So again, I don't know how the whole dimension is. And you're going like, you're probably thinking, okay, cute. What does this have to do with Michael Myers? Well, that's the butthole. That it doesn't necessarily have to do with Michael directly, but it leads into Laurie's dissertation that ever since the years since Michael's
The
last
the Myers hum, homicide, or what's the term for like a massive like
mass-
amount of body kill
massacre.
massacre? The Myers massacre. That runs off the tongue really nicely.
Yeah, that really is increase in violence across added to Harlem Heights and people being like, they're looking for their own motherland and everything like that. And I think Corey just happened to be another symptom of that kind of thinking because we all knew it was an accident. We saw his point of view, but the parents are going to see, well, that is the mother that is thinking. Yes, the father did see a the guy that he did say that it could have been an accident. And the thing is that another thing we move on to is the fact that in
Oh
Halloween
yes,
'78, Lindsay was watching
the
the
thing from another world. The Howard Hawkins classic.
Okay.
there was
We got a John Carpenter classic, The Thing.
and okay, and I thought it was funny that it was only when the thing head was swinging from the ball they decided, oh, that's just the thing. And the doctor losing his arms and then filling it with earlier. Me and Marissa audibly laughed in the theater because a million years got taken when Copper get his arms chopped off. Do we really believe that that name scene?
We can't.
Yeah.
I'll
So
forever think of
like the
that.
minute we heard the scream from this, it's like, oh yeah, then they showed the thing off the screen. Like, oh yeah, it's a classic. Yeah,
I did I did hear the audience like giggling wherever the thing appears. Like, it's, of course, gone back full circle, haven't we?
yeah. So that is yeah. Like I said, I like
I,
Laurie is attempting to be the happy grandmother role she should have been for years instead of being the doomsday prepper that one day he'll come, trap her that she was in the last two movies.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, when she learned that, like, yeah, no, Michael isn't like going to hunt you down like a dog. He's just like just a lumbering. It's kind of essentially like how people think that bears are gonna come for you if you're just out in the woods, but really, if you don't like get in their path, it's like they're just gonna lumber around and just find something better to do.
I don't want to laughing at that.
Well, he actually does live in the woods, but bears are probably more commonplace in the city, right?
Yes. I guess it pretty much just leads into that poor hobo.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry. I'm jumping way too fast.
oh, that's fine. So, Allison has now.
Which is fitting considering the fact that she has see a deal of people losing a lot of blood.
Mm. And she got a promotion.
Well,
Good job.
was trying to aim for a promotion. And so what's cute Laurie's clearly trying to get the patch. She doesn't have the usual quirks of mini bottles for alcoholism or seeing Michael look at a corner of that. She's trying to get all of the development around him a memoir.
Which
Oh, fellow writer.
And
I'm something of a writer myself.
and then of course the Corey has since been cleared of what happened, but that doesn't stop from labeling him a child killer, a pedophile, all kinds of stuff. It only starts the news about him on the fact that horrible thing happened on his actors. And this eventually crosses some paths with Gary,
Uh, uh,
and
who kind of saves his ass a little bit from some, uh, I
feminist.
guess like band jocks. Like I was gonna say band geek jocks because I guess like geeks are cool now. It's like just they're, they're band jocks now.
yeah, but they're still bullies. But yeah, and then another thing is that she thinks Allison needs to see someone after breaking off with a cop. So she figures, hey, this guy seems like a good guy. Let's send him another round. As they first met with him repairing broken glass in his house. Glass that came from him smashing his own chocolate milk bottle from the anger of all the accusations that he was going. Oh, this guy has a bit of a streak.
Also, can I just say, when the moment when I saw Allison and Corey, I immediately went, I ship.
Yeah, and yeah. So the quote Deadpool. Oh, you thought this was a horror movie? It's actually a love story. Yeah, all love stories include kids falling off of a cliff or near death on an horror film.
Just like King Kong.
But yeah, that's one of the whole things about the movie. The fact that it does focus so much on the love story of Corey and Allison to the point where when Michael does show up, he goes, "Oh, we're not right. This is a
It was a Michael film.
yeah."
Well, I mean, I knew it was a Michael film. Just
Well, actually, that's one of the sadistic things about this movie: the fact that Michael himself is more of a presence than an actual character or appearance in this movie.
Which is kind of funny considering the fact that one of the original pitches for Halloween 4 John had was that like Michael Myers did come back, but it was kind of more like a vision, kind of a specter. In fact, he even wrote this piece to like how these two kids are like dealing with a 12-foot fucking like shadow Michael Myers. It's gonna be creepy. It's like a psychological thriller. Mr. Collins like, no, no, I want blue jumpsuit, white mask, stab, stab, like fucking Michael Myers. No ghosts, no season witches, nothing.
I think that was the actual poster. I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, the idea is that Michael himself is out of the picture for a good chunk of the movie while he does reappear.
just like
Which,
Godzilla.
which,
Exactly.
which, to be honest, like okay, so we have to remember that most of these Halloween entries back in the day, whenever they were bringing Michael back, they always, for some bizarre reason, always have doctors patch him up. They're suturing him, they're fixing up his eyes, they're grafting new skin for him after being burned alive. But here, he didn't really get that. He's still kind of missing two fingers on his left hand. His face is pretty much like burned within his like uh, exhaustive mask, which I'm pretty sure a melting mask should not probably smell or breathe right to a person,
He's probably
and
hired
also the fact that like he's been like punched, shot, staked, stabbed so much, and he's pushing 75 at this point. Like, let's just. He's not as young and virile as he was back in the day. He's not 21. He's not 40 anymore. This is like, he's at almost at the end of the show. It's almost like the evil's like just exhausting the body at this point.
So what does evil do? Evil doesn't just die and wither away. It changes shape or finds a new vessel, so to speak.
Which, when you think about it, is almost kind of so. Yes, Corey, after having a freak out at a party, which he was enjoying to a point up until
Until the mom
he,
at the killing
yeah,
child he actually killed.
and he has a meltdown, freak out, and leaves. And after another return, Kerfluffle with the band Jocks falls near a sewer, which he gets a close encounter with Michael, and almost gets choked to death. That is until Michael looks in his eyes and saw that he has the darkness in him.
He
That
had
he,
the blackest the devil's eyes.
I'll be honest, when I saw that happen, I'm like thinking, whoa, they're doing something new here.
Exactly. I thought we thought
new a horror Halloween movie. Ah, the devil! Ah, ah!
like
Call the Exorcist is evil in this movie. You're doing something new in a Halloween franchise. You can't do that.
like
Like, oh, I
when
like it.
like when we saw that hand grab him from behind the circle, like, oh, we thought, oh,
He's dead.
So when he then on the road, oh,
Like, oh my, what's going
Michael's
on
letting
here?
someone go. He's not being
His
forced to let go
usual.
from being harmed or injured. He's just like, huh, not you. Not yet, anyways.
even the hobo was like, many people go in there, they don't come out. What are we gonna do? We're gonna give him the master Corey kills that guy with his pocket knife.
So yeah, needless to say, when that happened, some like thoughts start to click in some people's heads. They're smart enough that this is almost kind of like it kind of reminds me like what the Chucky's first season was doing. How they advertise it as a coming of rage story as opposed to a coming of age story. It's like the rise of a serial killer and all that. But so when they were doing this here, they were actually starting on the way to actually starting to go through with it, which is kind of surprising. But then you realize like, well, okay, so when the evil got to Michael, he was kind of 6 years old. It was like not understanding as much, like kind of like a young mind is just like, oh, okay, so I guess this is normal then. But what if that type of evil got into like a 21-year-old babysitter with a bad beat of a past and a little bit of a kerfuffle like home life, which okay, so we're having a plot line that sounds like what would have like if Halloween 4 continued off and had a proper Halloween 5 The Killer Inside Me, but also having the family kerfuffle of the Rob Zombie movies. Huh. This is almost starting to sound like a celebratory movie.
Yeah. So thing is that after killing the hobo, he tries to like open up a little more to Alex and tell like about what incident that happened to him and even and I think that run into her ex friend boyfriend who ruffles his feathers. So he brings him over to be stabbed by Michael to show him how to do it, so to speak.
And it's surprising whenever this happens because when Michael was like seeing he was getting knocked about by the cop and he looks like he's like just like down on his way to say, "For God's sakes, this is the 13th century. I'm too old for this shit."
But once he
But then
starts,
when he starts killing, you can start to see something changes. He starts going from weak to like his stance is growing. You can also you can get that feeling that he's like getting like that adrenaline back, that like the drive that keeps him going.
yeah, like he just became like he was like, if anything, he was kind of like a curled up little bug when he was being beaten around. But after he started killing the cop, he got back to that homicidal maniac we're all used to.
Mm-hmm. And
And man, I just thought this weird. Is it weird to say that Michael was almost kind of cute in this movie?
by cute, yeah, he's not
Because
cute.
he looks vulnerable, but
He really vulnerable. And to be honest, when I saw the whole scene of him in the sewers or whatever, I'm thinking like, so is this where he goes every year?
so I took well, remember the Mario Kart was destroyed and they burned it down.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Burn it all down.
Yeah. So he starts taking a little shot off of Michael. He does start. He gives it a look at one point, and even Laurie goes like, "Oh shit, I know that look."
And whenever Corey witnesses Michael kills, he starts to also kind of there's almost like this like psychic connection. It's like psychic connection, like part 5. What the? Okay, so the House has like this like connection, like this line between him and Michael, where he kind of like feels that drive, that inspiration to like go and kill, and to feel like less pain, because like he goes from like having need glasses to see to not needing them at all. It almost kind of looked like a darker redoing of the OG Spider-Man movie.
And here's the
Oh my
thing.
gosh, yeah.
But here's the big thing too. That the single I really like, oh, also Lindsay's in this movie, and thank God she's away from all the action.
Me too. I'm glad she's alive.
And she picked up being a tarot card reader, so good on her.
Yeah, so she introduces Water to the father of the boy that was killed, and since he knew Corey for a long time, and when you saw him talking about it earlier, he's like, I tell him, hey, I know him, so I'll probably put this on my brother list. But then he gave him that look, and he goes, I saw that look and knew he was going to go down a dark path. I said, it was funny. There was a cutscene Joker already. And I feel like the
Hmm.
more Josh turned up in the car, the more I keep starting to, I feel like, crap, this is Joker kind of.
It's Joker, but I'm all like, okay.
Well, like you said, madness.
Actually, I have a different uh, analogy that came to my mind when I was watching it with my dad.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
That this literally feels like a redo of Christine, another John
Which
Carpenter classic.
David Green did say was an inspiration.
In fact, I was literally waiting for to see Plymouth Heavy in the junkyard that we always keep going to, because that's where
Oh,
Corey
maybe
works
a
at.
literary right there.
But needless to say, like you definitely get the show me vibe whenever like Corey witnesses Michael doing like what Michael does best.
And that might be the big thing that divides people on this movie is the fact that most of the body count doesn't belong to Michael in this movie. In fact, Michael has a total of 3 confirmed kills in this movie.
Right, but
It's just,
when Michael does what he does, he does it like spectacular.
like he still does. But I have seen this in the theater when he attacks the nurse after hitting Allison's promotion. I think she's on the bucket hitting upon the Corey. When he sticks her to the wall, I was just like, oh, okay. A true classic. Never done this.
Oh man, but I was honestly not actually expecting that. But then I kind of noticed, I'm like, well, Corey's acting a little funny. He's acting like, well, I guess like living two lives at once.
Well, yeah, because you got that boy that Mars saw that was stupid, and you got this budding psychopath who's kind of like a empathy and is simply and purely evil. I think this madness makes more sense than Joker portraying that as always bad.
Yeah, and to to be frank, the he actually still has like the drive that he has for doing all this is to be a better person, to like look to Allison being like it, kind of like a good counter to her, since she's like known as a survivor and he's like known as the monster. It's like the whole Beauty and the Beast kind of vibe,
Or if
essentially.
anyone else calls you a beast, I'll rip your fucking face.
Yeah.
That's a Joker reference. Oh, what up, yeah?
But needless to say, it definitely feels like a reboot of the original Halloween, but like with without having to go with the grungy look to it.
Well, on top of that, not only is it so good, and let's start out as Laurie trying to set off the line about having home with and Alfred's like, oh, come on, just we know that this is all fun for you. We're just doing this to make the show feel better, so there's some love and everything. And the whole town still blames Laurie, saying, hey, it's your fault Michael was provoked. And also, I was like, Michael
Like
just.
how? What she all she did was just like have do a babysitter job, and she like got concerned, checked the house, and ran fleed from Michael. and then all of a sudden Darkness 13 has this like clueless idea notion that like, maybe Michael and Lori have something. Maybe I'll just set him up against her.
And then, of course, even like within the cast, even though people like I said are kind of dropping, we find out that kind of like Lady has at least smiling about it. My sister, was attacked by your murder, by your murder assassin.
How are you still alive?
Yeah.
We saw you die,
Well, we didn't quite see her breathing at last. We just saw the fluorescent light at her. So.
Like
Right.
even then, I joked with you guys like, if the broken glass doesn't kill you, the fucking gas will.
And she was still there, but
Oh wait, we're bleeding out.
yeah, but I guess they saved her. Modern medicine, I guess.
Well, didn't save her voice though, so.
But yeah, but I like
So
how she showed everybody like that Lori like fall off mentally dying, and I was like, oh, I think everyone comes to their own. Even I felt both Allison and Monica. Everybody takes that strategy and makes it about their what happens to them rather than the factory. Which is kind of what some people do these days in real life, where a great horrific tragedy will happen, and people go like, oh, how does this inconvenience me rather than the fact of that happened. I think that's a common trait that was going on with that kind of misinformation spreading about what happened to the Corey babysitting case, what happened to Lori, like all that stuff is symptomatic of what we see in real life when a few miswords and simply say, "Oh, you're that person who that groomer, you're that child pepper." That's even though nothing of the like happened, but that stuff spreads like wildfire really easy, like we saw happen in this movie.
Didn't
mhm.
help he had a mouthful disc jockey that uses the airwaves to like kind of like stroke his own ego.
Oh yeah, that was pretty
Which
funny.
I told you that radio station kills is gonna be a factor in this one. Like the radio was playing the WURG in the crash car with the umbrella guy that crashed.
Yeah. So, like I said, so the thing is, did Michael make Corey evil, or was it society in general? Is this like the code for getting a chance to go to high school the next day with an automatic? Is this kind of similar circumstances? I mean, that's a question I've never raised to everybody. Let's say it's so on the nose, it's too political. Even depending on something from my corner, you think that's like, why does it have to be a message movie?
Or
Dude, the
people saying
freaking
yeah.
first. Well, to be, well, I was gonna say the first movie was good message movie, but like John Carpenter admitted, it's like we, it's a movie without depth, but given the look that had depth. But to be fair, it was kind of based on like the fact that the '70s did have kind of like a rise in crime rates. So yeah,
People are probably
if
gonna.
you're gonna actually say straight face that horror shouldn't be inspired by the real world, then you're not a fan of horror. You're just like,
A gore hound.
yeah, essentially it's like,
Actually,
I just want
I think
blood, I want
people are
buckets, I want
probably
body
gonna
parts.
hate this movie because they're all like, "Oh, it's implying on mental health."
Yeah, I mean, the system failed in this case. But red flag. There's a lot of red flag warnings with the way Corey's behaved. I guess that's a common trait of red flag warnings like that. So, uh, by the way, Hawkins is so adorable in that girl's getting off his screen. I was like, oh, I'm so glad they didn't kill him. Whenever he gets stabbed by Tortilla Man, I really thought, oh, you didn't actually do anything to him like that.
He's been through enough as it is.
And then he comes back in the beginning of the second, and that maybe shows you're fucking dead. How the hell did you survive all that?
Yeah. So, and things come to a head where it comes to Corey basically telling Allison that we're going to leave this place. But he had a couple of debts to settle. And he kind of knew something. He actually gets into a fight with Michael and takes his mask. And I thought of you right away, bro. I thought of the next shot, that faraway shot of Michael getting knocked out, Corey running out, and the camera hangs there. And then you see Michael somehow go, what a shot. And I thought that's what you would probably say. And then Michael gets up like, okay, what happened?
Well, needless to say, that scene alone is gonna get a lot of people be pissed off. But to be fair, like Michael and the way that Michael kind of treated Corey essentially it's almost kind of like a kinship. Almost, it's like you you had the darkness to you. I also had the darkness. I'm probably not going to be around long, and so someone's going to have to spread the death and madness in this town.
But I think
But
that
the fact that Corey didn't even ask for the mask and just kind of like tossed and tumbled it around, kicked his ass, and just like took the mask away, just kind of probably broke that deal. It's like, okay, I was being nice at first, you little shit, but now, of course, you realize this means war.
yeah. Oh man. So Corey goes like so wrong them. The band keeps getting pretty bad. In fact, I felt really bad for the girl in the back seat. I was with Thor. She wanted to see the team completely on the side. She felt bad harassing.
Well, both
Mm-hmm.
girls didn't want to. It was just the two guys that were kind of instigators. They were both both the girls were like, dude, you just pushed the dude off a bridge.
And oh
Like,
man.
no, he fell by accident. By accident? Yeah, that's my story. I was sticking with it.
And oh man. Wait, wait. Okay, this part's almost laughable, but also so sad. Like the scene with the dad sees Corey and the guy idiot with the rifle thing shooting, and he does that in real time in front of us. Like the dad's up behind him. You see him in the stand, he turns around. He gets shot, dad falls back. Whoosh! Just
Ninja, vanish.
yeah.
Yep.
Even I'm like, so, oh man. What about, what more was the dad at? I thought, he was watching, he was watching a movie I know. Oh, he was watching that ninja assassin movie with the bad actor. Miami Connection, I think. But so what happened?
Also he had a cat in the background. So
Oh,
not to be
Oh.
well. At least that cat didn't have to carry the whole weight of the movie like Halloween 5 did.
oh man. As jerky as those shots were being, the lead got it bad with a blow torch to the face.
Oh, like even Dad winced a little bit. Like, ooh,
I like
no, no.
and here's a creative thing that Corey does in his movies. Unless he intends to be one of the villains, the most violent stuff he leaves out of frame. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but like the guy who gets grabbed by Michael, and you don't see what happens, and later you see the aftermath, his mouth just goes completely visceral.
Oof.
So it, like,
I'll be honest. I honestly flinched when when the radio guy got hacked.
oh, good God, that
Oh, and then he got his tongue cut off.
Ah, I hated that. That kind of made me wince.
And then the tongue was just kind of like
on the
on the
disc.
record. It was just like.
Oh gosh. Oh, that is freaking
But
terrible.
it was kind of funny that his other friend was getting involved with the whole thing that goes on there and he's cutting off.
Which we never actually got to see what happened to her exactly. We just know that she just got attacked.
Yeah, and then he even gets his own nose. And I thought, after when I finished it, I was like, oh, this whole time I thought, oh, that's a tragedy. But now I see
It's a
it's a
comedy.
fucking comedy.
Well, that and also the fact that it mirrors exactly when Michael's
Killed
first
Judith.
Miller kill was with Judith.
Yeah,
So that act alone pretty much kind of sealed the deal that this is no longer Corey. This is evil.
and also I like that Allison kept telling Laurie like you just because you see Laurie in the kitchen with Corey's like feeling Allison is kept telling her like is it well you're the one that set us up now you want me to see her he was not really mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
And then Laurie pulled off a Batman there,
He does
just
that.
it,
Yeah.
like she is like in a chair and then whoosh out out of the room and out the window. Which definitely leads me to have a bit of a theory that I'll get into once we wrap it up a little bit.
So there's a point where Allison had one final blow up with Laurie, and Laurie goes back to her memoir room, downs a few drinks, and oh gosh, she's gonna pull
As, as
Hemingway.
actually, if I noticed this in my second viewing, the gun that she pulls out isn't the same one that she uses to quote unquote commit suicide with. Like, needless to say, she pocketed the first one that she pulled out to be used for later.
Yeah, and yeah, so she calls him to work on a suicide, and at the same time, Corey seems to flying up the stairs, and he sees from his point of view, gunshot, it's like a splatter, and he thinks, oh, there's a
Well,
bad
that's how
guy.
she went.
And she shows up,
Open. Did you really think I would commit suicide?
and she goes ahead and blasts the thing.
Yeah, he didn't get enough time to like let the pains aside.
And then,
Like he got just a little bit, like but like not definitely not to the point to withstand gunfire.
of course, that old man if I can't have her no man, so he kills himself. Or not kills, he stabs himself in the leg, and Tori pulls it up, and that's when all the misunderstanding happens. Oh, yeah, I love that.
It literally mirrors how the prologue started off with the family coming in and seeing a dead child and seeing the person that they thought instigated the act holding uh, well not the smoking gun obviously but
The bloody knife.
the bloody knife.
And then who decides to come in? Michael himself. And decides to finish the job of Corey. He sees that bad and gives a look of like, yeah, he said, I don't
It's
know
like
how.
I had big plans for you. You threw it all away. Oh wait, no, I want to quote the line from the Spider-Man case. You misguided fool! I offered you the world, and you throwing it away.
Yeah. Also, okay, I got those that in. Misery, Corey bleeding. Michael goes, misery, misery,
I
misery.
offered you friendship,
Friendship
and you
and you
spat in
spat in
my
my
face.
face.
Anyway, but yeah, so here's what the main event happens. This is what everyone's been wanting to see. Laurie versus Michael, the final fight. And dude, they go at it hard here, man.
They're essentially like outstalking each other. One's hidden away and then jumps. The other like just like jumps off the table on her before she has to use the. Like, oh, she actually got her fingers nicked in that
The garbage
just
disposal.
garbage disposal. But she'd think like, oh no, is she gonna get her fingers cut? Just barely enough to her jolting just literally smacks his head with her head.
And oh my god, I laughed when she got stuck in the closet again. And she got again,
hmm Oh, and I can say one thing: the score is
right? Oh,
phenomenal.
the music's amazing. Cody, and John Carpenter just
That's when it also ranked the movie high up for me.
And I did laugh a little bit when she brought the sewing needle out
again.
again, but this time I was like trying to say, can't beat me the same way twice.
Yeah, and then so it all comes to a head, and so you're surprised Michael tries to pretty much stick the knife in that place,
And
and
then
then never miss.
unmask, and then makes the effort to unmask him.
I like
See,
how he's unmasked, but he's still like everything within his face. They're just trying it in a way that his face is not the primary focus. He's still not gonna get in his face with it.
but the point of it is that she sees your face and she knows that she's seen the eyes of the boogeyman. Or
Actually,
she lists like, at first I thought you were the boogeyman, but now you're just a man in a mask.
he's about
And
to breathe his last.
watch him breathe his last breath, and then slits his throat.
And then
I will also note that before she does that, she pulls out a nice big fat butcher knife, and she kind of handles it in a very particular way that kind of maybe raised my eyebrow the second time I watched it. It's like, huh. But needless to say, Michael does get his hand free and is starting to choke her to death. And this is where you think, oh, this is what it means. How it ends is both the monster and the survivor die. Okay.
yeah,
hmm
like
They even sell you that fact when they're doing the whole montage of like
Apollo the
classic to modern.
And the moment I saw that happen, I'm thinking like, are they really gonna kill
both of them.
Victor or both of them?
And then Allison
To be
pulls up
fair, I would have accepted it considering the fact they didn't do it in a cheap way of killing the
like
hero
they
off
did
in
back in
the first 15 minutes. So fucking dumb.
if anything, that one kind of reminded me of the point that when Ripley went out in Alien 3 before Alien came close to the test at sky.
But right, and from out of nowhere, Allison Strode.
He showed up and breaks his arm off. I don't know how, but breaks it in the way that, yeah, he's like, oh, Laurie. And then they slit his wrist so that they can completely bleed out.
And needless to say, the police arrive and see that like, yeah, they're The boogeyman finally came out and it's finally dealt with. Not dead enough though.
Yeah. So hell, even one of the other guys said like, "Hey, that's not how it works." Like the other talking about, even the sheriff like discredited Michael. His name's like, "Yeah, we're doing this." They tie him on top of a car for all to see.
It's essentially signaling to the Haddonfield, we have the boogeyman. Come witness his demise.
It's almost like a funeral procession. In fact, the track is called a procession.
Which was very chilling to hear when John released it out early before the movie.
And,
But
and
now to have the context, it definitely feels a lot more powerful and definitely nails in the fact that this is how it all ends.
and at least, and this is one of the few funerals I've seen in the theaters that are fallen.
No, this is okay. So you know how like there's like the ding dong, the witch is dead kind of thing. This is almost kind of like getting more like, okay, let's just be professional and classy, but yeah, we're essentially middle fingering this fucker as he's like dying.
Oh, but and I noticed there are many times we cut to that shotgun and spoil it, and I keep seeing that trailer process, and I'm like, that's gonna be put in the playset now. So I saw it close to the thing with the fire. Oh,
My mind already clicked the moment they said like not dead enough and they're strapped into the car. It's like the shredder.
and then
That
uh,
that's the way you do it.
and then Laurie had to get another person in, and you see they lean on the body going, still Eli, and they're like, yeah,
Yep, he cannot come back.
he's dead.
This is deader than dead, deader than shit. And this is where I'm gonna laugh if they say, "Oh, the next real like totally follows up on this." Like, oh yeah, how does he come back as a pile of shit?
And again, it was an emotional scene when they started, but more like an emotional release, like a cathartic, like the acid unloading and the expression going on behind that. It's really releasing that tension going up after 4 years. So that was genuinely neat to see.
And so we pretty much have a nice happy ending. Allison finally leaves Haddonfield behind. The town finally is thankful that the boogeyman is dead and gone,
Laurie finished it now, right? Hers?
and she is actually considering leaving Haddonfield herself to go visit Japan to see the cherry blossoms
Like
with.
Hawkins mentioned. That was
And
so
then
cute.
it ends with the quick montage of places that we've seen the final battle take place in. But instead of the darkness and here breathing, it's light. It's coming
Silence.
outside, silence. And you see the mask on the table, and then "Don't
And,
Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult.
and what's funny is that ending totally gave me Scream 3 vibes. Like the ending of Scream 3.
Well, it felt like it kind of like a well, like the future is unknown, but at least I'm not gonna be scared of it.
That's what it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was pretty much Halloween ends, even to the point that the end title shows Halloween ends, fading Halloween. It says end.
And then, oh man. So, you said you have a lot of thoughts on potential changes or theories, right?
Yes, I have a big one in the fact that so they mentioned that like um, the fact that there's this whole story about how Corey is starting to become like the boogeyman or the next Michael Myers, and it's essentially because like that even Laurie mentions that there's two forms of darkness. This one is kind of like external, and it's one that's like forced upon, like everyone's kind of faces one another, and then there's the darkness that inside, it's festering like a virus. That darkness tends to be the most dangerous.
I'm infected. How can I put the same? It's almost like he even has a similar story.
But then Corey brings up this line, and it made me think it definitely in the second viewing I had with Dad. And the fact is, like, you should have given in the moment that you looked into his eyes.
Ah,
So my theory is that all this time in this timeline, Laurie has also had the darkness within her, the darkness of the boogeyman.
that is
But
true.
but instead of like going off to kill and attack others, to satiate that, she's kind of been building it up to essentially defend herself from the boogeyman, knowing that he was going to come back.
Like she said to Hawkins, for 40 years I'm hoping you break out. Why the hell did you
So I can kill him.
do that?
And essentially, once she learns that, like, not only is the fact that Michael, like, never had anything, like, an interest to her, like, hell, the only reason that he even tracked her to, like, her little death trap was because of a mad doctor who probably also got the darkness, madness into him.
Yeah, he wasn't strong like Rose.
But the fact matter is that the reason that she kind of like pursued and put that darkness towards that goal was essentially because she is a survivor. Essentially, she managed to survive the tragedy and was like cared for. She's had therapy. She's had like a family. Although she mentions that she had a falling out, so of course the darkness probably got in the way of that. But then, like, even with therapy, there also her granddaughter was opening up and welcoming her in, and it kind of almost kind of like dissuaded her away from like being abrasive and being a bit of a jackass, which we kind of see her being a jackass in Halloween 2018 to the reporters. It like just kind of like, okay, you got 2 minutes for your interview, and then you're gonna pay me your 3,000 you promised up front, and like, and I'm not gonna have any follow up questions, and fuck your whole like documentary thing. But then whenever she goes and turns around and gives that $3,000 to her granddaughter to do wherever she wants to live out her life. And we also have that moment where like it kind of like got Jonesy's head to tilt whenever we watched in 2018, where Michael is like being like carted off to a bus to be in a tighter.
And there's a bit where she screams and you see
The
um
shape, the shape.
yeah, a Michael like shape in the mirror behind her. Like anybody that has ever been to Michael himself is enough.
And my mind kept reeling in the fact that not only does like she have this aggressive nature to her, she's also taking the same moves that Michael has done, like disappearing whenever someone looks away.
The way she
That's what it
appeared,
feels like.
the way she appeared in the darkness when she says it in the past.
Happy Halloween, Michael.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the fact that like her tolerance for pain was like slightly subdued a little bit, even after like she like thought she might manage to kill Michael, but it turned out to be false. So she has to like push the adrenaline in her. Like she honestly thought that she was gonna feel a lot better after killing Michael, but once she learned that he was still alive, it was kind of like that switch lifted back on and say, "Where the fuck is that knife? Give me that knife!"
And that kind of thinking cost her daughter because Karen kind of picked that up to kind of take her mom's place. So her mom would never know that, and resulting in her death when you think about it.
And then, of course, after Michael disappeared, like Laurie probably had to really like focus their mind on the fact that Michael isn't out for her. She's not like a target, so she kind of almost kind of like it got to be like a little bit of an eccentric grandma. But even as Allison pointed out, this is just a face you're putting on. Like you're still obsessed with death.
Yeah,
You think this is a game to you.
either you just or everyone else is inevitable is the end game. And that's another thing about this movie. It's constructing the character. It's more about the character than the aspect of the fights.
In fact, before we actually started this recording, I actually found a tweet from a prolific horror writer. You might know him from a lot of works that he's done, Mr. Stephen King. He says like it reinvent the wheel, but it actually is character driven.
But yeah, and I like that. And it's definitely like another way. I refer to this movie as Alice. But it's a character that's consistently follow along the series is Allison.
You're just saying that because you think she's cute.
I do. But
But yeah, needless to say, to finish the point, she really is kind of like Laurie did kind of use that darkness to her advantage, almost to the point that she's almost kind of got a little bit like the same abilities that Michael did. Like again, the disappearing act, her insatiable ability to weaponize anything around her, or even setting up a faux trap with anyone that was potentially going to kill her.
Yeah, and I like
Like she even toyed with like her prey at one point, like just firing off the rest of the shots in one of her guns.
well, that's like she mentioned in her thing about like the evil thing that it let him in in her memoir that you have, that her plan was not evil, but it just destroy the changes too.
That the difference between her and Corey is that Corey has been treated almost kind of like as the monster because he had a dead kid under his watch. Essentially, there was always like words talking behind his back, and like he had pretty much a toxic mother and being bullied all the time. Laurie kind of got a little bit of that with being blamed for the boogeyman, but to almost for 4 years, she's kind of been touted as like she's the survivor of the Haddonfield Halloween murders, the survivor of Halloween 1978. That kind of like praise and like needing for to help her get love and help kind of like subdued that to a point.
Yeah,
So it's essentially seeing like two different people that have gone through the path, and that's why Laurie is able to recognize that Corey has this darkness in him.
so it's kind of like the cool one, the light and the dark side.
Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Yeah, so and interesting how Allison herself chose to not play that game. She had the chance to be on the path when she took the knife and stabbed her mom, and they had that ominous scene with her holding the bloody knife at the very end of the first one, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then in part two, she talked about being able to help to protect her grandma and mom, but it was only her boyfriend who actually cared, and her mom died later. So I think Allison figured in the end, fuck, I'm not playing that game at all. She's just trying to live a normal life.
So, needless to say, I am loving this movie more and more than I think about it, especially the fact that it's not. I did know that it does feel like it's Christine all over again, but I also feel like a lot of plot elements are also kind of like, okay, what if we did the Thorn trilogy but better?
Well, you got the whole Shaolin and the blood sacrificing and everything. That Doctor Wynn.
I did also kind of like in the back of my mind whenever Laurie like cut Michael's wrist with a knife. She did it with the kind of like a diagonal way. It's almost kind of like yeah, if you cut it another angle, it'll almost make like a thorn symbol, wouldn't it?
And then I like that Michael himself. I don't think he had anything personal against her.
Right. Like let's face the fact. Like he probably was gonna go after her just kind of just to get revigorated to get that strength back
In
after
fact,
you know
I
getting
kind of
his ass whooped by a kid.
joked this to her. This is pretty much how Laurie and Psycho Charlie Thanos. It's with everything with me. Back on reality, they're like,
I don't even
I have
know
no
who
idea who you
you
are.
are.
yeah.
But yeah, that was Halloween Ends, and
So, any other observations about that?
no, that was pretty much like the main one that like struck me interesting. I do also to end off on that theory is the fact that she still holds the mask, and I take that as like she's kind of become like a guardian of it. She's kind of like the, keeping the evil at bay. Like
Yeah.
no one else is gonna take this symbol of evil to do any more harm. She is essentially like keeping it out of harm's way.
And even after all that shit, you still can help her feel bad for Corey in his final moments.
Yeah,
Before,
it's kind of like taking like the Michael Myers backstory but making it tragic. If that makes any sense.
yeah. And he finally
Like this is before like he's actually like 15 years, like I was told there was nothing left, no remorse, no
The
consciousness.
root everything comes to good and evil, life and death. Yeah.
So like he just still didn't make reach that point. He could have like been reasoned with and saved, but he was just so obsessed with just wanting to like get like a second chance and go away with the one he cared about. And it definitely does feel like Christie is like there's only one thing in their way, and it's another woman.
Yep.
In this case,
Yeah.
yeah. And here's the thing, though. So favorite kills.
Hmm. Well, I definitely say my favorite would definitely be seeing Michael with a grinder.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna count the death, I would definitely have to say it's a tie between um the bully getting his face filleted with the torch,
Out.
or the DJ getting like his face smashed in and tongue cut off.
Yeah. That one
Yeah.
was the most
It's like it definitely feels like a proper ironic death, considering the fact that he's all talk, he's able to just be kind of a disc jockey, like even before he dies, he gets the cuts saying, "You should be ashamed of yourself using this platform. Like, be careful of who you speak of monsters before you risk becoming a monster yourself."
Yeah, that's funny. And my favorite dead also was Michael, being, crucified, so to speak. Oh, and, oh man, I thought that I felt so bad for myself. They go pin underneath the fence, gets in on that hardwire against
Oh yeah, and then runs their body over entirely.
it's like talking into her paper and sorry, man. Well, he like he doesn't direct it, man. So I thought when I saw that, that was a nice
I
anyway.
I honestly thought she was dead on impact when she was like driven over. I thought like we would see her body explode in parts, but then I realized like, oh right, I forgot. We're not in that type of slasher movie. This is
No,
actually
it's not.
slightly more grounded
Uh-uh.
in reality.
Is that like Final Chapter Star Wars? I don't know if that's what the card. I think. What was it, man? Was it Steve Down?
The what now? Oh,
It was in Saw. The last right? I remember laughing my ass off like a maniac watching that shit.
oh.
So, oh man, and, is there anything missed opportunities?
Hmm. Missed opportunity. Well, I did notice I didn't see Lindsay in the procession in Junkyard, so I guess she didn't want to see Michael get his comeuppance.
Maybe,
Yes, or maybe she was in the crowd.
yeah, but this is
No, I was scouring. You'd think like a legacy character would get like front row seats, but I did not see her. Not a single plaid was found
maybe
in that
Kyle
crowd.
Richards was already done with doing that. Oh, second half of the position. We will face it in the crowd.
Yeah.
Fine, but needless to say, I do. I'm kind of too throwing with this one because there's a lot of cons just as much as there was just the pros. I feel like we should have at least seen one of Michael's eyes, at least. Not don't show his face. Like clearly one of his eyes is still got to be intact. I would like to see like I wanted to actually see these blackest eyes we've all been touted about. Like maybe they've been drained of color so much, or like they're just like I
Yeah.
don't know, just something, anything. I just wanted to. It was essentially I wanted the gratification to look him in the eye and say like, "This is where you finally fucking die, you
Like
son
I
of a
was,
bitch."
yeah. So I also look great in this movie, and she looks so cute in that outfit. Of course you remember that. Um,
Really? I don't know where I really get that idea.
oh, the joke that I like there. So, I also let them dancing over to watch her in the movie, like saying, "Oh, she's so cute." And I was like, "Okay, I found what she's cute." But yeah, so the music was tough. Bum, 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 bum,
Oh,
bum, bum,
I
bum,
was
bum,
just like,
bum,
how many times are we gonna hear this goddamn song in this franchise?
bum.
If I was gonna hear that, I'm all
You
like,
would have laughed a lot in the
I would
theater
have
that
laughed
happened.
so hard if I were to hear that happen in the theater.
Yeah, it's kind of like hearing that joke when people say movie has just hearing that. Yeah, that happened.
Come with me.
Godzilla, come with me. I will say this too. Of the Sandman joke. There was something else I thought that would have been fitting for that. Uh, I don't know. So there was another horror movie song that I was playing at the end of that part when. But you're right. It's basically reminiscent of when after Loomis sees Michael disappear, the entire house falls with the breathing doing. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like I said, now here's a question. Did you personally find this satisfying?
I'm just definitely glad that they have a way to actually say, yes, this is the end, this is it, and that Laurie is actually going off with a happy ending. Because let's be honest, most of all no, I'm just saying all the movies with Jamie Lee's Laurie never actually had a happy ending. It's like the first one, it's like, was that the boogeyman? And she's just crying in fears, like he's escaped, he's in the ether, he could be anywhere now. The second one, it's like kind of got a happy ending that she's got away, but it's like the fact that she had to be like carted off in another ambulance in the same night is definitely not one that's like she wanted to
Yeah.
have.
See, I guess I also had the ending of H2O. Like I said at the beginning, when the first 5 minutes of the night.
And and how it resurrection. Oh nope, she's died.
And there was through the screen crying out at the end of like, oh my god.
And just
Everyone's howling up.
and considering whichever version you get, like she still ends up being like a crazy psycho like Angel Myers at, at the end of H2. Doesn't matter, live or dead, she's still crazy.
And then of course, this finally gives you the she deserves it.
Like
She
she's
got to go
happy.
to Hawkins instead of Power Blossom.
Cherry blossoms. The road trip. Just let's go to Japan, motherfuckers.
But what's great is the fact that this one has a lot more levels to it compared to the other two. There was barely any level here, and still was such a good
Well, no, that was the middle chapter. It's like all cylinders are fired. Let's just go, go, go.
Yeah, like the only part that was letting me and fun is all the things that were really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or that little exchange between Lori and Frank.
Oh god, I love it. There was also another thing I love about show is the whole creation of the 7 years stuff. That was just amazing.
Yeah, Sis and I recounted on that one, and we just
Especially
like
when they build this up from the
that was essentially a sign that said like, okay, Bloomhouse, these guys do their fucking homework here.
So let's hope that they
I'm
really
and it,
line up
like
for
I
Five Nights at Freddy's.
well, I'm sure they will. But as I told Sis, like if I were to travel back to 2012 and show them chopped up bits of that uh, Night of '78 from Kills and say, look, I have footage of what is actually a discarded rough cut of an original take on Halloween 2 before the John Carpenter had to change his mind to do more with Kill Stalker stuff.
Yeah. So
And they would have looked at it as like, holy shit, what happened? How did they not go with this? This looks really awesome.
and then of course, so I was satisfied with how things turned out. Again, I really like the storyline with Alex and the what's going on and like learning to be a person instead of being a survivor. And for yeah, like into his accent, like that was awesome. And then more towards the side, like oh, and like to the point where even when Michael does kill him, he still feels some pity for the guy.
Like he had so much promise. He actually was coming back from the dead too, like struggling with Michael. But Michael's been in this game longer enough to like, no, you squandered your chance. You're fucking dead.
And he does it next place. Yeah, for sure, you're dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
although I still think Cameron Dion got the worst hit on the stairs.
Mm.
I still remember thinking there guy who had his head smashed out like a pumpkin. There was a guy who had like this car, and the one death that makes me feel car and anything is my boyfriend being hit up in the head with a spear and at 180 head. I don't know why. Just watching it, that's what makes it worse.
I don't know. Maybe it's, yeah, maybe it's the way how it's shot.
Because I felt so bad for him. And we just saw a guy get into a little squishy machine when his temples get squeezed and his eyes popped out.
Yeah, I guess in a way you can blame. I guess in a way you can kind of
But
MK for thinking, oh, it needs to be gory enough, but yet Joker can do it easily, make us flinch.
even though it's simple stuff.
Even though it's simple.
So, hey, your thoughts on
Oh, I thought you were talking to Marissa because I
yeah,
think I already kind of explained.
your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts? Oh, well, I enjoyed the movie. I love it. In fact, I think it's the pretty much by far one of the best movies I've seen so far in 2022.
Damn.
Like even better than Scream.
Oh, Scream second place.
Uh,
Somehow Michael
Oh,
just dethroned it.
oh shit. That he doesn't impress easily, guys. You seem like this is what's for us.
Yes. Well, I would say one thing that kind of made it kind of like, well, it's so satisfying. See, well, not only because of how much hard work they put into it, but again, I'll put emphasis on how it was shot, the music. Obviously, it's a big number for me. Ah, and well, again, this the way how I'm like it creates this story like I'm like a reality that these characters. I'm like I can see that they really want this bad, but they can't have it because things happen.
And
And the fact that pretty much that they made it that Michael was really like vulnerable in a way, kind of.
at the end of his rope, essentially. Like,
Yeah, at the end of his rope, I'm not. So again, in a way, he's not a complete monster. After all, he has like some human qualities. Not
yeah,
that.
like chopping up an entire fire department.
Yeah,
so
yeah. What's that?
what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene would have to be, like I guess when Lori met with Hop.
Oh yeah, okay. He
That
was a
was
fresh
really
head of
nice.
vegetable.
That was really nice. And well, to find out whole that her world just that her smile just turned to a frown just because that one person. I'm all like, why'd you have to go and do that? You just ruined the moment, lady.
But she was right to be a little louder.
Well, yes, I can see why. Uh,
But,
I don't know. Yeah. In terms of yeah, horror films, yeah, I would say Halloween Ends is up there high.
but like you
Scream is
said, like Derek told me that his father was really impressed how they edited. Like that's how you
and
actually cap
Cap.
a monster, right?
Yeah, and I would say
Right,
the
you
favorite
don't
scene
smack
be
him
the
in the back of the head and walk away. You don't like stick him with a knife to their chests and think like they're not gonna get up. No, no,
Yeah.
no. You pretty much like not only double tap, but you triple tap, and then you just send the fucking like leftovers into the garbage disposal.
It's like my advice would be combination. I would pump them so full I would miss my heart vitals fail. I would make sure the life leads and recommend immediate
I think another reason why I also like the movie is because they didn't do too many on-screen graphic killings. It
Good
was like
night.
off-screen, but
See
you
you in the
use your
morning.
imagination to how it went down.
Exactly. We kind of like already had our feel of that with Halloween Kills, essentially.
I would kill was the Gorham movie. That's why I like
Yeah,
that one too. Yeah.
I liked it too. But I don't know, this one I kind of like more. I guess
It's
because
subdued. It's a little more subdued.
yeah, it's a little more yeah, subdued. Again, I'm not expecting a huge bloodbath, a Nightmare on Elm Street explosion with the with the
That's
blood.
the Rob Zombie movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't mind a little blood. I don't mind scenes as I guess decapitation, but still, I don't know. It was just done right. I guess.
Yeah.
I really like the movie.
It needs
Needs to die in
It
all it
needs
does.
to die.
to die. Yeah. Oh, this is that thing. Okay. Well, did Danielle Harris make any appearances?
I don't think she did.
I don't know myself playing this one for
Well,
Nick.
you'd have to be aware that like you'd have to be a fan of like watching like the really awful ones and like oh yeah, the Holly Four was pretty good, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the other thing too was I like how effed up the last movie.
well I do love that the fact that they took the fact that these types of masks can age. I would assume that the way the mask was like it was preserved as best as it could be, given the fact that it's been living for 40 years, but it's still like got like the kind of a smoker's house degradation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Nick Castle still does a great one. I thought June Courtney did a really good job as taking a physical look at this movie.
I'm gonna give props to both, considering the fact that I met them both in person. My dad. Also, Nick Castle actually did appear as a cameo as himself. Well, but is showed his face to the world, his beard and all. Uh, well, he was in the party. He bumped into Corey.
Sam?
Yeah, the white beard and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's nice.
That's awesome. I gotta probably take a look at it if I see it a second time.
It's on TikTok.
Okay.
Did you pick that appearance on Mask?
Well, well, essentially the body you see whenever his mask is taken off, that's all Jude. That's literally what he looks like. I mean, it doesn't look like a shriveled up prune of a monster. It's like
So like
and it,
the mask is completely off and he's standing there. That's actually him.
yeah. I was about to say, yeah. The key to that door is in the back. That made him
Okay.
eh.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, but he didn't like that part right.
What
So
did you think?
I loved it. Again, because it was not what I expected. I didn't have a lot of expectations, but again, the love story will took it to me like, all right, this could be a funny movie. It's not a comedy
Mm-hmm.
because these guys are comedy like it's just the girls who do horror.
Right. Whenever the whole love story angle not only made me think of Christine, the thought of like, oh, this is like Christine was like second degree. First time I viewed it, it was more like this almost kind of feels like a classic monster movie almost, like the old black and white days. Almost,
Yeah,
at least the romanticized part of it.
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's I like how the brutality of Corey skills and how personal this film is. This isn't just Michael's killing his family. This is getting even.
And
Now
then
my
and
only
then some of
question.
the other victims were involved were mostly ones that like get, gave a slight against Allison
Yeah,
essentially.
like the
So
doctor and the nurse.
Yes, I'd like to get mentioned about that. So about the doctor, I'm like, so.
But because they went over and looked on
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
even though she's
Classic trope.
even though she's
Sleep with
busted.
the boss
Yeah,
together.
so that's why Corey came into this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's okay. That is my question. It felt well paced.
Now, of the three, it's probably hard to say right now, but of the three, what would you say is your personal favorite of the three?
you know what? I'm actually gonna go with the third one, considering the fact that well, 2018 had to play it a little bit safe while also like doing a lot of retcon and cleanup work. And then the second one had that like flashback and like the body count, but it definitely felt like Kills makes it so that the only way to best see it is to watch it tangentially with back to back with Halloween 18, which is what I've done, and I've even when I first like when it was out in theaters, I was able to have a chance to do a double feature when my drive-in had both movies played back to back, and that was like that's how you watch it. That's like the strength of it.
Mm-hmm.
But Halloween Ends is essentially one that can kind of stand on its own, uh, like for the most part at least, because you definitely know that there's like a lot of weight and pathos there in the previous movies, but this is definitely one that feels different than a Halloween movie. It almost feels like kind of like a spiritual. like new anthology like standalone story for what part 3 was trying to start.
Yeah, I thought we had a long time on 3 too. Yeah, in fact, I would have laughed if one of the commercials. I would have laughed if the DJ said, "Oh,
Ah, turn it
And
off!
then,
Ah!
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I will say this. I'm sure the theater would have reacted and exploded and been screaming. It's like, turn it off!
Or they would have
Turn
laughed.
it off!
Or they would have laughed.
Yeah, one or two of them.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think yeah, that's one of the things a lot of fans are fans. They're not too much about remember this, remember that. The reducer. These guys, yeah, they're really
Right.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to whatever projects they have.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
I know for a fact, knowing how the way how they handle, I guess, Halloween ends. If they do this with the Five Nights at Freddy's, then that was
Now
either
here's the thing too. Is there any other horror, franchise or veteran that you like to see new under this label that that probably
good.
Friday the 13th probably once all the
can
legal hullabaloo gets settled.
Yeah, we kind of want to see their take on Jason. I mean,
Look, at the very least, we need at least a nice 13th film to say like, here, all 13 of Friday the 13th.
But I thought it was cute that they called him Cunningham. I think I love it. Go back to Sean Cunningham.
I think about it. Hold on, the whole name of the whole court. I was thinking like, I'm like, the way how it also kind of reminded me like, remind me a little bit of Scream, but in a good way.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like, I'm like, okay, it has some
And
Scream
again,
elements.
it's funny because violent as it is, it still didn't go over the top as. I mean, the only time it did go over the top gore was during the final fight with Michael when he was getting completely cut the f up.
Yeah.
If you needed.
The DJ, Willie the Kid look over here going, "Am I a joke to you?"
Oh yeah.
I still flinch at that.
Oh yeah. Oh, but here's another one. I was thinking of the rules of Scream 3. If but if you're dealing with something else, this is for the trilogy, where the past that it could mess with the animal in the ass is Corey's past,
Mm-hmm.
and then the enemy would be superhuman. You have to completely kill him and he'll come back, and anyone can
Like,
die.
free, free, freeze them in carbonite, decapitate them, or blow them up.
Yeah, and then that's funny. They didn't do none of that.
I just realized also I kind of just had this playing in the back of my mind. This is where the person has the last scare, or whatever
Oh yeah, they didn't do
the
the
last scare.
what he did when Michael thought he was dead, and he ripped his hand out of the knife and put it in the glory.
Well, I mean, I know you did with Corey too. He kind of came back, but then Michael gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a kill. I don't know if it's a horror monster thing or.
Also,
I kind of find it kind
you
of.
wouldn't say it's in the same vein as Friday the 13th in the beginning with the whole different killer thing, right?
Well, I was honestly saying that this also felt like like finally getting payoff of like this like story idea of like what if a killer got like infected by the same killer instinct, the urge to kill like Michael Myers did, like how Halloween 4 ended with Jamie Strode standing with the clown costume, mask on, and a bloody scissor
But
from
Loomis crying, yeah.
no, no,
Not
no.
again. Here's the thing I thought of when I first saw Halloween, 2018, in with Allison and the knife, and I saw the way she was getting during kills. I would have thought like, they would have done the twist of Allison goes down the dark path on the line, but thankfully they didn't do that. And I think you probably would have been thrown in your hands if they did that kind of twist.
Well, if they did it poorly, but the fact that we got to see it done right with this one
But yeah,
is,
because
but again, this is like another case of like this is what Halloween does. This is like it brings out just like evil essentially.
so do you think there'll be another one? Like, no, you're not from this.
I I'm pretty sure it'll happen. Probably like they'll probably wait 20 years so that they can cash in on the nostalgia of us 60-year-olds at this point.
Or the 50th anniversary.
Oh, it's been
But
around that long?
needless to say, I feel like nobody's gonna care anymore. It's like Jamie's not involved. And John Carper will probably be long gone and not involved. It's like, well, what's the point
Oh,
anymore?
the economy, like, when there's money, there's a way.
Right, but how are they gonna
I I
explain
I
this?
I honestly feel like if the Akkads really want to do anything with the Halloween franchise, they need to just fucking like buckle down and embrace the notion that people are starting to like Part 3 for being different,
Wait, what is the next
and
Halloween movie?
they need to have an anthology going on.
It'd be funny if the next Halloween movie was a remake of Season of the Witch.
Okay, that'll be actually kind of interesting if they were to do that, but do it better.
It wasn't bad the
Uh,
first time. It's just
I
different.
mean, they could have a different twist of the witchcraft. The move essentially the whole premise of the movie is like witchcraft in the computer age, and like okay, that's kind of interesting. But now, what if we take a step further and like, what if it's witchcraft in the smart devices era,
Oh yeah. Anyway,
where literally everything around you is wired down to its last bolt.
so another thing, this is because we watched 12 horror franchises, but it'd be so funny to see Fiona work with Andy Minichak, and Allison, and horror topic. Oh man.
Actually, it'd be kind of funny if for some reason I don't know why I'm not thinking it'd be kind of funny like see like I don't know a good guy plastered on a billboard.
Oh, thinking of that, they're kind of funny that for both Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends,
Yeah.
that the Chucky show did a little promotion promoting the movie.
Well, they
Oh,
are under the same studio, obviously.
Universal, yeah.
So it's essentially like, hey, be sure to catch Chucky on every Wednesday on USA and Sci-Fi and Peacock. And not if you need more of a Halloween fix, the latest Halloween entry is out now.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good project. I mean, yeah, and I can see why some people would be like, okay, this is not for me, or saying this, this kind of like, I feel like it's kind of funny. They say that the whole thing with in the first hour and a half with
Corey.
Corey and Allison was like, someone had like, hey, I have this movie for a movie about it's a couple, and one of them is gonna find out it's a little crazy. I don't have an ending, and someone says, "Oh, well, I have an ending for Michael Myers picking up another son and finds his business. I don't have a movie to go with it." So I was like, "Hey, you have a movie with no ending, and I have an ending with a movie. That's right forces." That's John's funny, and also said that I can see how someone would get a take away from that. Really, maybe there's like the final confrontation. That's what you were invested for, but they said that's the movie you saw in the trailers that you wanted to get.
It was essentially a little bit of a fake out. But to be fair, like we never saw who it was with under the mask, and like thinking it now, like why would in the hell would Michael Myers just like be walking out in the open when people are aware that he is an open threat and anyone like looking like him should be like, hey, stop right there, you, like speak a word or two if you're Michael or not.
oh
But
yeah.
we did like that part when again when they see the bodies of someone who got hit by a brutal gun crime, and Frank right away is all, "No, it's not him. Michael
Michael
doesn't
doesn't
use
use
guns." And it made me laugh because that's what that's what Derek said when Laurie broke into their house and said, "Boom, you're dead." And he
like
said,
how how does that even count? Michael doesn't even use guns. Are
"Yeah,
you trying to protect her from other like insane threats?
I
yeah."
guess other people are creepy psychos and use
But
guns.
oh man, so I thought this will be a fun marathon for some people. I think some will say just do it Halloween and Halloween 2018. That's all you need. But what if 2018 wasn't enough? Not that that could have been the end for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
But I
then
enjoyed
again,
the
when
excitement.
But then again, we wouldn't have the madness with Haddonfield and like seeing up because like even Halloween 2018 ends where like you saw Michael in one shot looking up while in the flames, but then the shot cuts away, it returns and he's not there. So it's like, but did they get him though?
Yeah, I like that they did it. And I'm like, yeah, so I had fun in this 4-year journey traveling to these movies. And it's a little bittersweet that it's over, but I like that it ended the way it did.
Mhm. I agree. I mean, to be honest, I'm like the way how they kept it up. I'm like, I can't really see them making another one.
But inevitably there will come one that's not like this at all.
Yeah,
I would laugh if they do a follow-up to Resurrection.
no.
But, would you like to see Michael reappear in a Wilson movie?
Okay, if that's the case, but then it would have to be like that concept of a Hellraiser versus Halloween
That'd
movie.
be interesting. The Hellraiser's kind of back in the role, but the new reboot doing pretty good.
I haven't seen Hellraiser.
Yeah, the whole fun kind of turns out, but like, if I just bring it back nearby because it could get a little loose.
Okay, one of those movies. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I really like it.
Like it, I love it.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, you guys. This is a little all over the place and rambly because that's what we do. We're rambling about. But maybe in the future we'll do a proper retrospective and complete. I think we covered everything we can for this whole 3 series of films. So I think
Really, we just reviewed it all in a few sentences. We didn't need to do a whole
yeah,
essay.
we didn't have to do 7 or 8 episodes of thumbnails and talking with friends about each individual character motivation.
Yes, I kind of hate that when videos do that. No
That
offense.
that's what we were doing. I was making a joke there, Derek. Like, I'm like, we haven't done that before. We're coming. We're coming.
Get to the point.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we've laid out there. Is there anyone in the audience that had any observations? I didn't even check to see if we had anyone watching.
I did hear like as soon as the credits hit, I did hear someone behind me say like, "Okay, well now I like Halloween Kills a lot better." And I was
Wow.
like going like, "Oh, okay." I just rolled my eyes, like, going like, "Well, should have expected that one."
We had like one or two or three, four people with us when we
Yeah.
went to go see it,
Oh yeah.
and they were all really quiet. They didn't really say anything.
No, they were reacting to some of the big kills. I'm talking about anyone in our chat room. Did anyone make any comments?
Oh
I didn't see any.
no,
Oh, our video. Nope, we're dead
nope,
quiet here.
we're dead.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. All right. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I could see this being contentious. But for me personally, this is great. And if you guys really want to check it out, like it says, if you guys have Peacock, it's there on Peacock. And if you want to see it in theaters, it's there in theaters. And if you want to see it through any other illicit means, and go ahead and put the viruses on your way out. With that face. But yeah,
Yes.
so but the next thing that's probably next on our feed to go see, me and sister are probably really gonna go see Black Adam because I don't know that La 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 trailer song's just been playing in our head for weeks on end. Oh, someone took a joke picture of Jamie Lee at a computer writing. It says, "And as I faced up against Michael for the 507th time, I can't help but wonder, will I end Halloween, or will Halloween end me?" So funny
Mm.
joke. But yeah, this is definitely it definitely feels like the end. And I thought Lori definitely deserved the ending that she got.
Mhm. And Allison too.
Definitely, thank God. I know. I heard Derek was taking bets if Allison would fight it or not. I kept saying with the first thing, no, she's gonna make it. I'm sure she's gonna make it. I kept
I
saying
mean,
that.
like if they were to do that, I'm like thinking, wow, they had the guts to do that to kill the main character. Well, no, never mind. It's not the first time they probably did that.
But I would have been, I was like, oh, like, yeah. there's a on Twitter there's a someone joking with the two guys, Ben Tramer mask dancing in front of Brian Michael Myers and Halloween Ends, and they're dancing together. It started off that way.
Tweet that.
But yeah,
Oh my god.
what happened?
Well, I just got this update. Like, this is breaking news right here. So the next project that David Gordon Green is going to be attached to working on is an untitled Exorcist sequel, the direct sequel to the 1973 film adaptation.
Well, shit. I wonder what the involved as Reagan. Sorry, Mercy saw funny reaction. This is my reaction to that news. It's gonna be. I watched this guy when he sent down Horde online.
Or Prey? No.
Prey was good.
Prey. Another Prey movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, other horror threats coming out include Pray for the Devil and that Megan movie,
I kind of want to see that one.
which I'm
Oh,
practically. Yeah.
okay, so there's a rumor here. It's not confirmed yet, but Jamie Lee expressed interest to appear in Green's Exorcist movies. Actors pitching a potential role as the voice of the demon Pazuzu.
Yeah, the one that cuts
Hey,
a lot.
hey, don't laugh. That's an actual demon name, okay?
Yeah, that's just called
I'm not laughing.
Anyway,
It's just the fact that like the nostalgia critic made a joke in the Exorcist to the heretic. Say Pazuzu is just a silly name. Like no one's gonna be fearful of that. And literally, like go to this video and go to those comments, and everybody and their grandma is gonna say like, "Dude, Pazuzu is the name of an actual demon."
yeah.
Like
So
I'm pretty sure he's heard it more than enough times to like probably like have. I wouldn't be surprised if one of his videos like that I've never watched is probably him expressing that. Yes, I know Pazuzu's the actual name of the demon. You can stop listening to the comments now if you want,
Zool,
or not.
motherfucker, Zool. That's my favorite demon joke with this is the Zool one.
Zool, motherfucker! Ow! Son of a bitch! Ow!
And then, and I'm a motherfucking serious.
Zool, motherfucker!
Yeah, I'm
Zool!
a motherfucking serious. That's about the three months. This is the three version. I laughed so hard the first time I saw that moment. So, I guess out of the three horror films I've seen this year, which includes Scream, Nope, and Halloween Ends, I think I could put it comfortably between Nope and Scream. I think Nope is my favorite unusual film of the year. I haven't seen Barbarian, so I don't know how that would stack against it. I think Barbarian would have been up there too if I saw it.
Nope, it's
It is
just
pretty.
nope.
It is pretty good. Uh,
And then of course you got Smile, which I'm
we had the X movie that came out earlier, then the prequel that came out like just like last month, Pearl, and
so
not
horror's not dead, people. Horror is alive and well in cinema.
All the horror's done right. If it's just the whole hacking fest, I mean, that's technically all of them, so what am I saying?
Alright. So yeah, I think the next movie we might go see is Black Adam. And for sure, everyone in the country's gonna go see Wakanda Forever to see how that turns out.
Yep.
And
the
I hope that more people go see Avatar.
enjoy it. Sonic 3 is gonna beat Avatar 3's ass.
Yeah, well, we're in Avatar 2 is territory now. Yeah. So I guess that's it for Michael. This is for this ramble. Thank you guys for listening to us. For Pat on and on. Thank you for listening us this year. And if you didn't like it, let us know. Well, if you actually please just let us know what you thought. We thought it was an okay banger. Like Stephen King said, didn't really have to win, but it didn't have to. It just needed to deliver on its promise, like a promise, and a nice thing.
Yep.
And so that will conclude. Is say thank you, good night, and fitting for this episode, we wish you all a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
And a happy Halloween.
Alright. And remember, check your candies.
And beware, the boogeyman still is out there.